to you. For those of you that don't know, the U.S. lost to Germany 1-0, but I think we still get to go on to the next round. So I haven't paid attention to the Ghana game to see what the score was there, but I think there was a good chance we were going on. So, and hopefully we will have bandwidth back, because I think there's so many people listening to the game that it was slowing things down. Particularly John Batista couldn't get on his computer. We have a little housekeeping to do, and I want to introduce our two presenters. Joanna Grant is Vice President of Affinity Express. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning.
She is calling in from a boat in British Columbia via a satellite link. I think that is so cool. John and my connection are not so cool, but I also have John Batista on the call with us. John, how are you this morning or afternoon for you?
Great, very great. Thank you.
Excellent. Maybe you know who won the Ghana game?
Portugal did, but that's okay. The United States still gets to move on.
Excellent, excellent. So I want to thank everyone attending today. We're going to go over Affinity Express and the resource that you have at your fingertips. Boy, Joanna, I think we did a webinar with you maybe 3 years ago.
Yes.
And we have a lot of new staff, and I think we just barely skim upon the services that you have to offer. I think your company can offer our people a lot more than we're currently utilizing you for. And John, you could even attest to that. You didn't know all of their options, right?
Absolutely. They do far more than I ever imagined.
Yeah. So just a couple of quick things. If you haven't already, dial in your audio pin. That will allow me to call on you if you have a question. That's very important. If you do have a question, you can do two things. You can raise your hand or type in your question, and I will try to get to them just as soon as possible. And we'll try to keep this moving just as best as possible. So again, if you're using a headset, try to mute your computer microphone so you don't get any feedback. And again, enter that PIN number so I can call on you. Right before we get going, we have some congratulations are in order. Joanna and her daughter just had their second baby, all the way down in Chile. So Joanna has a long trip ahead of her in your future, right?
I do. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. That's
You're
awful.
welcome.
Thank you.
So Joanna, why don't we start here, and you can kind of talk about your core services and take it away.
Okay, great. Our core services, as it shows on the screen right now, by the way, hello to everyone. I can attest right now that the Jack Nadell group are using our services on a very limited basis, primarily in the first two, embroidery, digitizing, and in the artwork, particularly the vector conversion category. But within that artwork category, we also supply creative work. We can do virtuals, proofs, and blue sky graphic design as well. Further, image editing. As it says there, preparing images for print and online. If you are creating a document that needs some very finely tuned background dropped off, including things like necklaces and et cetera, for those who might be working with jewelry manufacturers, for example, then we can support that. The print and online ad production is a very strong capability that we offer. We support today many newspapers across Canada and the US and Australia and the UK. And for that, we are providing ad creation that can be applied both on the print side as well as online. Marketing communications, as it states there, that is anything from a business card up to a catalog layout. Interactive services, mobile ads, websites, Facebook profiles, etc. And then lastly, data entry, which we serve large customers with, dedicated teams of people, but data entry can be a small project as well. So next slide.
Yeah, but we're going to we're going to touch upon data entry a little bit later in the broadcast here, because I think it's an area that you don't need it till you need it, and then it is a mad scramble to figure out how you're going to get a large chunk of data entered into a system or spreadsheet, what have you. And so I think that's a service that people are going to be interested in. I also want to point out again that Affinity Express is an extension of JNI's creative team. They work 24/6. So when you need something right away, and it's a simple taking a JPEG and you need vectorized, you need some digitizing done. By the way, I use them a lot for my digitizing. I've never had a problem. You get it fast, and it's a lot less expensive than your own local embroiderer can do, and you can make some pretty good points on marking that up. So it puts more money in your pocket. But again, if you need something simple and our staff is busy and they can't get to something for a couple days, by all means, send it to Affinity and they'll get it done and back to you very quickly. So it's a terrific resource for you to use.
Thank you. The digitizing, as Craig mentioned, your embroiderer often uses digitizing from outside resources as well. It's quite rare for them to have digitizing on staff. But you can utilize our services and be assured of the quality levels that your embroiderer really looks forward to. Designs that sew well, that are without thread breakage and really look terrific on fabrics. We sew out everything. So what you're looking at in front of it on the output side, that's actually a sew out that we've done on our end, and we scan it and return it to you. So you've got something in your hand, in your email promptly that you can send to your customers for an approval right out of the gate. Here you go, sir. How do you like this so far? And they can say, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And then you can go through the sample cycle or the sewing cycle with your embroiderer. Just gets something to your client a lot sooner.
One of the things that you'll see when you log on to the Idea Center, where you enter your orders for Affinity, is that it takes you through a number of questions. How's this going to be embroidered? What's it going to be embroidered on? Is it twill? Is it a polo shirt? What fabric is it? Is it performance fabric? There's a lot of those questions, and they'll adjust the digitizing to go along with that particular item that you're planning, if it's a towel, terry cloth towel, or what have you. Janelle Doyen looks like she has a question. Janelle, I'm going to try and unmute you here, but it doesn't look like you've entered the PIN number, so let's see if this works. Janelle, you're going to need to enter that PIN number. I can't take you off of hold. So, Joanna, let's keep going, and okay. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to Janelle.
Okay. On the artwork side, same very quick turn time. A conversion from a raster image to a vector image file that can be applied to anything from a t-shirt through to mugs, pens, whatever the case may be. The virtuals can be created concurrently to that. We can deliver that back, or you can just have the art and do with it as you choose. You will get a JPEG image to submit to your customer for them to have a look at as well. We do work with suppliers and distributors all through the industry and do many of these every single day. So that's a very large and deep team that we have. So you can feel confident that if every one of you today sent an order in to have a conversion done or a proof done, we would be able to accommodate those requirements.
Joanna,
Yep.
do you mind if I interject here?
Please.
This is, I think, what a lot of people think, is the jump-off point for Affinity Express, and they've done so many vector conversions for me, and it's fast, it's affordable, and it's really great work. That's how I came to you guys. So I'm not sure if everyone else on the call has the same experience, but it's great.
Yeah, and it
Good.
looks like we can get Janelle. Janelle.
Yes.
Hi. Welcome.
I'm here.
Yes. Did you have a question or a comment?
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my audio to work on my laptop.
Got it. All right. So, Joanna, please continue. You wanted me to go to the next slide?
Please.
Okay. And this is a little bit about a project that John had that Affinity worked on. And John, why don't you explain a little bit about the genesis of this and the turnaround?
You know what, Craig? The next slide hasn't advanced yet, actually. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a T-shirt project for a small group of volunteers at a nonprofit client that we work with, and the contact was referred to us by the nonprofit. He works for Douglas Elliman, the real estate company, and he actually emailed me while I had been, over the weekend while I was out of the office in Portland, Oregon, and he really needed to see mock-ups that day, basically. He had to show them to a variety, handful of people around the volunteer team. And, I don't have a laptop, or at least I don't travel with it. And people don't have ready access to Photoshop or Illustrator when you're out of the office. So it's hard for those of us who do know how to do mock-ups. It's hard to do that when you're out of the office. So I basically took the logos, forwarded them to Affinity, told them what I was looking for, gave them the shirt style, I believe it's a Sanmar shirt, and I told them I need this back ASAP. And the client contact was also on the East Coast, and at that time I was on the West Coast, and Affinity turned it around, if I recall, in 4 hours. And it seems very basic, but you can't imagine how relieved I was to be able to show this to the client only a handful of hours later, without even having to pick up Photoshop or Illustrator or find a way to dial in remotely, or, it was a Saturday, so our creative services department wasn't available. It just was pretty unbelievable.
I'm glad that
makes
worked out for you.
Yeah, that makes a touch point for the client, and it works well. And then, John, you also had a Keurig project too.
This one, we're relatively new to Keurig and Green Mountain Coffee, and Craig, you and I had talked about how we were going to explore, or having me explore a little bit more what Affinity does. So
yep.
What I did was submit a project to one of our creative people, Casey. I'm sure most of you know who she is. And I also submitted it to Affinity. And they both came back with essentially the same thing, which was good, which is great, actually, because Casey does amazing work. And this wasn't an entirely complicated project, but she does great work. It's good to know that in a pinch, Affinity also provides great work. I mean, the worst thing that I have to deal with is when I ask someone to do a mock-up because I can't do it. Let's say I ask a vendor or I ask, whomever to do it. If it comes back wrong or looking shoddy, it is more time and energy just to get it to look right. These are some of the things we put in front of our clients first and foremost before we even get a sale. So it's crucial that they don't look like the logo was just slapped onto a product that we pulled from ESP. And I wanted to get a comparison between Casey, who's my benchmark, and Affinity, who I was starting to use for virtual mockups, and Affinity delivered.
Yep.
Great.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to a new category, this is image editing, and this would support a variety of different requirements for you, particularly in the print category. The excuse me. We can crop out images, or crop out background, I should say, and we can enhance them. We can recolor them, whatever your requirement is. Again, you can order this via our website, the IDEA system. And at times, however, because of the file sizes, we may have to drop them to FTPs because Photoshop files tend to be quite large. So if you do have a requirement for many image clip requirements, I think it's important to let us know, and we can assess how to get them best to us. But if it's just a handful for a print job, a quick one, 2 or 3, you can definitely order them through IDEA. Any questions on that?
John, you're probably like me. I think an image with the background dropped out of, so it's floating in a presentation, just looks so much better. In fact, I had a conversation with some of the people in vendor relations the other day about some of the images and the deck that they sent with the JNI bag of tricks. And a lot of the stuff you could tell had the dull white background of the picture that was taken. I showed them a quick way of dropping out that background. But if you have something more involved and want a shadow dropped underneath it and really need a high-end image for a presentation, this is a terrific way to go. It's quick, it's efficient.
It's not just for presentations. I mean, if you have a company store or you're thinking about running a company store, having high-quality images that don't look like you took them quickly with your iPhone is key.
Yep. Good point.
Definitely. Again, the website is a tool for that, and it will ask you the appropriate questions, inclusive of shadow requirements, etc.
Perfect.
Ad production, again, this is a core capability of our crew in we have 2 facilities in India, and one of them is a huge team, and they do nothing but ad production all day for newspapers across the U.S. and Canada. So if you're looking for ad creation work, we believe we're very well equipped to do that. Of course, input is key. Best quality input provides the best quality output.
And there will be circumstances when a client might have a bounce back or needs a postcard done, or we're doing a packaging project here in Irvine and there has to be a reply card put in the package. Affinity is perfect for that because they can do it. You deliver them the graphics, and even if it's a little sketch and you take a picture of that with your iPhone or phone and send it over to them so they can kind of get the layout, they're very good at interpreting what you're looking for.
Great.
One of the next things that I hinted at that I wanted to come back to was data entry. And this was a category that I did not know Affinity did. And everyone has seen, we have signed an agreement with a new online store company called Core Expand. And we're setting up a demo site with them. And myself and a new AC is working on that full time. And there's 3 spreadsheets required for product uploads, and then there's a designer function that requires an unbelievable amount of data that has to be uploaded. And in speaking with Joanna, you could have them do a lot of this. You could send them links from the supplier websites and say, I need this data. Here's an example of the data. Go to each of these supplier websites, get the description of the item, get the item number, grab the image, all of that information, put it in the Excel spreadsheet and send it back when it's done with the images attached. And this could be a huge time savings when you're doing a store or anything for that matter. Joanna, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the requirements that you need for this?
Actually, these sorts of situations that you're referring to are quite custom in nature. So it's basically define the requirements to us, and we will implement because they're so often so unique. So essentially just filling in if it's a spreadsheet that needs to be completed, outline exactly what needs to go where, and we would execute a few lines and make sure that we're following the criteria appropriately, and then we would jump into the program and get it done quickly for you. But it really is a custom sort of scenario. We don't have any rules, shall we say, other than defining what the requirement is. And
yeah, I created this.
Well.
I created this little graphic to kind of show, you know, when you bring it down to its most simplest form, and it's just data. And as long as you can explain the data that you need, they can provide you with a cost to do that. You just pay for the hours that it takes. And I dare to say it's probably, I know it's going to be less expensive than you doing it yourself or sourcing it here in the United States. And they will set up a dedicated person to work on this project from beginning to end. So they won't have phone calls coming in. They won't have emails to answer. There's not going to be those distractions that we all deal with every day. It's an emergency project that you got to get done. And they will sit there and just grind out the data for you until it's done. There's circumstances where there might be a sweepstakes or there might be a coupon. There's so many different options. And now you have a source that you can call on to do that. And I think that's really important. And again, you may not need it today, but a project may fall in your lap that you could use it, and you should know that they are here to help.
Great, thank you. It's important also to note that that would be, since it is a very custom in nature type of program, reach out to me directly. This is not something that would be done via our order management site, the IDEA system. This would be a situation where I would speak to you directly. We discuss what the needs were and define it, and then I can take it to my group and plan the execution of it. Okay, next slide.
Yeah, and Ben Block in our Northbrook office had a question about PowerPoints. And Ben, I had talked to Joanna. We're going to get her our PowerPoint template, and so they'll have those on file. And if you need a deck made, you can send them the copy, the images, and they will go ahead and set that up. Joanna, do you want to talk a little bit about how best to work through that?
Yes, that would be a something that you would order via the document creation button on our website, and it will list presentations as an option, and you can upload images there and refer to the PowerPoint deck that you want us to utilize if there's more than one, which I assume there probably would be, and we would follow those instructions, utilizing the deck that you wanted us to use, and then return it back to you in a specified time, usually 24 to 48 hours on those, depending on the size.
Right. Let's see if I can. Hey, Ben, are you there? Ben? Ben's not there. We'll maybe come back to him. You know, again, these are, you'll have Joanna's email address at the end of the presentation. If you have questions, the easiest thing is just email her and she'll get back to you, or have somebody from the team get back to you with the answers. So.
Exactly. Okay, on the interactive side, there's quite a breadth of items there that are available. This is most often done through a collaboration with our group on the online team side. The examples are definitely worth reviewing at the gallery that's noted in the website, or on the page right there. And that'll give you some ideas about how to think about and when to think about us for your various projects.
Just a side note, Joanna, Ben's going to call you directly. For some reason we couldn't hear him, but he wants to talk to you about how to work with that.
Okay, sounds good.
And this PowerPoint is going to be available for use to download. We're also recording this webinar, and you will be able to listen to it at a later date as well. So that's nice. So why Affinity? Take it away, Joanna.
For interact? Oh, sorry. It hadn't come on my screen quite yet. I was going to, why? Why not Affinity? It might sound a little odd to say that we're a revolutionary design service. I think what is revolutionary is the fact that you have us at your fingertips, a very capable team, I might add, at any time of the day. So as John alluded, he was in Oregon, it was a weekend, and he had the need, and we have the team in place to act on any need. The scalable side makes it revolutionary. Again, if all team members submitted something to us, it wouldn't matter. We have the breadth of team to be able to implement. We are very focused on what we do. Again, often folks say, well, I have a designer that I work with. Okay, well, that's fine, but perhaps that designer has a day job as well. Perhaps they are only one person and might be too busy. We are available 24/6 and have a very large team. We, in total, at our 3 separate facilities, we have over 1,600 designers. And the quality, we are a Six Sigma method driven firm, and we're actually have a preliminary ISO rating standing right now, which is very unique in the business. So, and you cannot get anything close to that without having the level of documentation as well as strategies in place to ensure that quality is delivered to our customers. Continuous improvement is very important, as is the scalability and reliability. You know, we're training. We have a large training center at our facility, both of them in India, and the one in the Philippines, and we're continually upgrading our tools, our software methods, and looking for best practice improvements at all times. And then the scalable side, that's critical for volume management throughout key times of the year. Spring, when the baseball season comes, for example, and you've got all the outdoor activity designs, potentially, it's a big wall of art that we can handle, of design work that we can handle because of the breadth of the team. Any questions on that?
You know, it just keeps coming back to the front of my mind that our people need to utilize this. When you are needing something quick or you have a lot of it and you're facing a deadline and you've got a lot of work, and maybe you know, you've talked to the creative department and they're busy, this is an excellent resource to push through a massive amount of work, get it done very quickly and professionally, and reasonably is something else. And and your clients are going to wonder how you were able to get this done. And it is just a great resource that they have so many different different services that they can offer. It just behooves you to use them, and maybe they can't do everything, but give them a shot to find out if it's data related, image related, and so forth.
I agree. I think that's a good point, because there's times. I mean, we have a couple of different core capabilities in our business right now that we launched years ago. That, you know, when we first were approached by our customers, they said in this particular category, they said, you know, can you do this for us? And I said, well, that's not something we do today, but that's something we could do for you, sure. And we ended up building a team, and it's a very important core capability of our company today. So it's one of those, if you build it, they will come sort of thing. But if we don't know what you need, perhaps it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Joanna, Allison Gutierrez has a question about price, and I know some of that is listed on the idea site, but do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
I think we have Allison with us, right?
Okay.
Allison?
Yes. Yes.
Hi. You had a question about the basic pricing, or?
Yeah, like, for example, what would it cost to do, say, a basic PowerPoint?
Actually, I don't have that pricing in front of me right now. And it would definitely depend on the size of the and scope of the project. If it's a 5-page versus 45 pages, it would just depend on how big it is.
So,
I can definitely give you a quote in advance, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, the easiest thing, Allison, it would be, you can email Joanna and say, here, I've got 40 items. I need the background dropped out. I need the descriptions added, and I want them put in a PowerPoint template. And somebody from her team will be able to say yay or nay and send them the information, and it'll be done.
Okay.
So when it's something a little bit more unique, when you don't know how many pages you're going to need or how many slides, if it's simple embroidery, that's easy to calculate, and that's done on their website, either 24-hour service or what do you call it, Joanna, on the site?
Well, there's basic or premium service.
Yep.
The basic service is sort of 3 days maximum, and for an artwork, it's like I think it's for you folks $7 and change. But if you need it in a few hours, then it would jump up over $20. So still very reasonable, depending on what your needs are. Our website offers the resource of getting a quote in advance. Instead of placing an order, you submit all the information, and it's under the quote option. And if you approve the pricing that we provide, you can just hit submit and approve it, and it'll be on its way. So it's a simple process to do.
And I don't think I've ever waited 3 days to get embroidery back on the standard service. So it's usually 24 hours. I usually send it in the afternoon, and it's back by the time I come in the office in the morning. So, and I suspect that just depends how busy you guys are and what's in front of us.
Yeah.
So, do you want?
Yep. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the discipline that your team goes through, and because I think that's important.
Yeah, it is. It is. We do have the experience, and we have a very strong senior management team, as well as a platform management team that considers the work that we do at a very high level from a production standpoint as well as a delivery standpoint. Our goal is to delight our customers for all the services and scope of projects that we deliver on. And these folks at our platform are pretty terrific at getting that done. The key to the success, we believe, is what you as a customer provide for us as in terms of details if there's any sort of unique nature of the project itself. We have the expertise, but we still need to understand what you are requiring us to do. Not digitizing, not vector artwork, those are pretty basic services, but if it's something that has a creative element to it, outlining that requirement is very important. And with our expertise and your input, we believe the success will definitely be there.
And it comes down to communication.
Exactly. There you go. It's very true. We do have coordinators available. We have onshore team here in North America. We have email responses going out from our customer service team very promptly. You can phone them. We can even set up Skype programming if you have that level of interface that you would really like to have. We can ensure that communication is very well maintained.
And I frankly, I didn't know, and John, I don't know about you, I didn't know there was coordinators that could answer questions here on shore.
Yeah.
So that's good to know.
Via email, there are actually a couple of people that I CC when I ask for either quotes via email. I'm still sort of learning the IDEA website. But I usually email my requests. But there are a couple of people that I've interacted with, and they've all been immensely helpful and quick to respond.
Good.
The slide that's up on your screens now, I think, is a really important one because it does. You think, God, working with somebody over in the Philippines or in India, and the delays, but it actually helps because while we're sleeping, your teams are working.
Exactly. Yeah. You can go to your meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, get back to your office at 4:30, submit a request to us right away, and it'll be back in your hands the next morning, which you will then return to your customer, and they'll think you're amazing because of that. My team is working through the night while everybody else here is sleeping. So it's a real plus.
It is a real plus, and then certainly the convenience. We're going to show people the IDEA site here in a minute, but it's so easy to upload the logo for digitizing or the JPEG that you want the background dropped out on. It makes it really seamless.
Yep. The IDEA site was built for the distributors, and so we have been very careful to ask only those questions that we think are very important in order to get the job done, but not so many that we bury you in time in answering them. And if there is any further information that you need to provide to us, we give you the option of putting notes in additional instructions. You can upload many files if there's more than one that's needed to refer to. So it's a very simple and easy to use site. That's the login screen that you're looking at on the screen right now. It's branded actually with, it will, when you go to the next screen, Craig.
Yeah, it has our Jack Nadell logo.
Yeah, exactly.
And your username is your first initial and then last name, and the password is Nadell1. And if you do not have if you're not set up for some of the new people with the company, Joanna, we talked about that, and frankly, I'm having trouble remembering what we decided. To email you to get them set up, or who do they need to talk to about that?
We can get, if you submit to me your email address and contact information, I will have the account services team get the login credentials back to you, along with a package that will show you, walk you through the IDEA site. kind of a how-to document.
Yeah, and have a PO number ready because you're going to need that in order to check out. If you don't have a PO, put your AE number. If you're an AEC, put the AE number that you're working on, and that will just help facilitate Jack Nadell's billing department to make sure where this goes. And I use them a lot for pre-sale. I use if somebody's looking for how their logo is going to look embroidered before I have the sale, I do some digitizing with that. I use them for a lot of different services, and they are terrific with that, and I recommend it as well. Does anyone have any questions that I know a few people asked some during the session, and want to open it up to anybody else that might have a question about how to utilize it or how to log on? Do so now. And in order to get hold of Joanna, there is her contact information. You'll also be getting an email tomorrow thanking you for attending the webinar, and her contact information will be in that email. So you're going to be able to get a hold of her very easily. In the beginning, she's asked that she be your point of contact just so she can route you to the specific people or have her team get back to you. With more complicated projects, certainly more complicated than digitizing or logo cleanup, she would be the person that you would contact first, kind of put the plan out there, what you're looking to do, and then she can help with that. Joanna, any last comments that you would like to make?
No, other than thank you for the opportunity, and we feel very confident, and I hope I've shown a certain amount that'll give you the confidence that we can be a great resource for you. And I look forward to working with everyone.
John, how about you? You want to give your last hurrah for Affinity?
Of course I do. I strongly suggest that people consider using Affinity. They're time saving, they're affordable. They've really, sometimes artwork and everything from embroidery tapes to data entry and artwork conversions can be a bit of a headache, and they really make it simple. So I strongly suggest you give them a try.
And if you're an account coordinator and you have a couple different AEs hovering over your desk to get some artwork done, or they have decks, this is a great resource. In-house open orders have the priority because we have to make sure those goods get shipped and arrive to the customers on time. So look at Affinity as kind of an extension of your team that you can virtually walk down the hallway, give them a project, and have it back on your desk and off to the client for approval very quickly. They are just terrific at that and can do just about anything when it comes to artwork. Joanna, thank you so much. I'm sorry your vacation's ending today, but congratulations on your new grandson.
Yes, thank you again. Thank you. That's nice. And I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate the help.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, very much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.